Think it's too late to learn a foreign language? It's not. In this video, I will give you simple and practical tips to start learning a foreign language as an adult and actually stick with it. Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Monvie. So let's get started. Learning a language as an adult, it's a bit difficult, but it's not impossible. And by a bit difficult, I mean that you have less time, you need to motivate yourself, check your progress, to force yourself, and all of this by yourself. You don't have any other person. And I don't mean that with age, your memory becomes worse and it's impossible, it's late to learn a foreign language. You can learn a foreign language at any age. Just for some people, it can take longer, like more time than for others. The hardest challenge of learning for adults is to continue learning, to force yourself, like not just to stop and like I'm done. As to be frank, you can't come up with plenty of excuses not to learn just because you're an adult and you have so many things to do. So now let's get to the tips. Understand why you need a language. It all starts from this, your main goal. Without it, no matter how you learn and what you learn, it will not last that long. Especially for us adults, it's very essential to know why are we doing something, because otherwise we will just not waste our time on that. So for what do you need this language? For communication, job, traveling, watching series, reading books. Choose your own reason. This reason will identify your learning methods and all this way. If you need a language for traveling, you will not learn all those phrases that are connected and only used in workspace. Also, you should analyze what level do you already have in this language. Perhaps you were learning it at school 15 years ago, or you know nothing and you start from zero. In any case, you can learn a foreign language. Look for daily situations when you can use it. Adults need to see reasons everywhere, and you need to know how can you use this language in your daily life. Not just, to learn it for 2 years and then to use it once in your life in that trip abroad, when you just said thank you to the waitress at the cafe. What do I mean by these daily situations? And now it's not that necessary to live in that country where you can talk to the same waiter at the cafe in your target language. Of course, it's great, but not everyone has that opportunity. You can have different connections with a language throughout the day. For example, consuming social media in your target language that you do quite often, or listening to music, reading an interesting text or post while you're waiting in a queue, watch a video of native speaker in the morning during preparation for the work. Also, if you have any hobbies, you can do that in your target language. For example, you're into sports, so look for workouts in French. Or if you're into cooking, you can look for recipes in Spanish, for example. You can integrate a language even by this. Just look for these opportunities. Full immersion. This one is quite similar to the previous one, but it's more about using only your target language. For instance, when you're abroad, you don't have any person that can translate you anything that you don't understand. Or you can't ask another person to switch to your native language just because you don't have a clue what she's talking about. Here, it's the same. You need to get rid of all that extra help, and by this I mean your native language when you learn your target one. For example, you're watching an episode of a series and you see an unknown word. Don't run to Google Translator and translate it immediately. Write this phrase or word on the internet or ask ChatGPT to explain it in your target language, like without using native one. So you don't have any translation And this is a real immersion. Also, your device language can be in your target language. I know it can be tough at the beginning, like you will not understand plenty of things and you will have such a desperate desire to switch back to your native language, but I promise you it will take some time, but you will get used to that. Personally, I've already changed 4 languages in my phone: English, Spanish, Turkish, and now I have French. So I know what I'm talking about, okay? One more tip from this full immersion is when you want to Google something, do that in your target language. By this, firstly, you will learn faster how to make a request, and secondly, your reading skills will be improved, and overall, you will expand your vocabulary. Communicate with ChatGPT in your target language, watch news if you do that, do hobbies, etc. Learn only necessary things. As I've already said, it's not school, so you should learn only those things that you truly need. Learn everything in accordance to your goal. For example, if your goal is to improve comprehension, you should focus on listening and expanding your vocab rather than on learning all those 12 tenses. If you need better reading skills, it's obvious you should read more. Don't learn that grammar tense just because it exists, and with words it's pretty much the same thing. Write down and learn only those words that can come in handy in the future. If you were listening to a podcast and you didn't understand 8 words, it doesn't mean that you need to write down and learn all of these words. And now you may have a question. And how am I supposed to know whether it will come in handy or not in the future? Very easily. Just analyze your daily talks. What are you talking about right now, as you need this language now, not in 10 years? Perhaps you come across plenty of formal vocab. Meantime, your goal is daily talks. So just don't learn that. Also, avoid grammar books. Most of the information that you can find there, like 90% of it, it's water, and only 10 it's real useful information. You should learn smarter, not harder. And remember to use ChatGPT. Use every minute, every single moment you have. For example, you're waiting for someone, or you have several minutes after a lunch break, you are in a queue. These all can be your opportunities to connect with this language, and for sure, you will learn this language much faster. Of course, I don't mean that you should forget about rest at all, and instead of chilling out after a long working day, you should start your learning session at midnight. No, it's about daily free moments when you're not supposed to rest and you have enough energy to improve your language. You can listen to a podcast, review flashcards, read a book, or even watch stories of your favorite content creator in your target language. Look for these moments and opportunities. It will also help you with this full immersion into a language, as you will see it literally everywhere. Set time blocks for learning. I know how it can be difficult to force yourself to study when you have 100 other tasks to do, which are of course more essential, and each time you choose to do something else instead of actual learning. But you need to decide for yourself, do you really need to learn this language? If you do, just organize yourself and start already this learning. No one will watch you out as it's cool. You need to do that by yourself. So my advice to you is to choose that 1 hour per day, and during this 1 hour, the only thing you do is you learn this language. And no matter whether you watch a video in your target language, you listen to something, you read, you speak, learn grammar, the main thing that you do that. That's why I said to you before that you should know your goal, because without a goal, you will not be motivated to sit and learn. As you're an adult, you're supposed to earn money, not to sit, at school and to learn something. Plan at least 3 times per week, 1 hour each. If you can do more, that's brilliant, but choose a comfortable schedule for you. In order then, in a week of learning, of daily learning sessions, not to burn out, and that's enough. I don't want to learn this language anymore. Also, to be disciplined, you need a studying plan. It's actually like all your learning materials, your goals weekly, and your main goal, your deadlines. You will not need to spend hours to choose what am I supposed to do today. Maybe I should revise my flashcards or watch this episode of series. Focus on vocabulary rather than on grammar. It depends on your goal for sure, but in most cases, vocabulary matters more than grammar. Because, for example, without vocabulary, no matter how good your grammar is, you will not be able to say a single phrase, a single sentence, because you just don't know the words. But when your vocabulary is good, even if your grammar is bad, like you will still be able to communicate, you will still be able to understand others and to respond. So you should spend 90% on expanding your vocab and only 10% on grammar. Even natives make plenty of mistakes in grammar, but thanks to vocab, they are able to communicate fluently. And I'm not talking about neglecting grammar and just forgetting about it. Of course, you should learn it, but just spend less time on that. That's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you soon in my next videos. Bye!